Good morning, Arlington. This is Jeff Carpenter here at Glass River Media at Venture X in Arlington, Virginia. As always, I have Ronan with me. How are you doing this morning, Ronan?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm just playing with some magnets over
Magnets.
here.
Oh,
Yes.
you got some magnets. That's
I
right.
love magnets.
Magnets are Ronan's, I don't know, what do you call it? His reason for being. And what did you get? What's new?
Well, it's just multiple little magnets.
Oh, those little
blue and green.
balls.
Yeah.
They come in
Little-
cube shape, and then you can form them. It's kind of like a metallic Play-Doh, right?
Basically. but yeah, because like I'm the person. My keys are magnets. Yeah, all of my keys are magnets. I have my house keys on magnets to put the other keys onto them.
And you were the first person I've ever met that had magnetic sunglasses.
I do have magnetic
So he
sunglasses.
would come into
yes.
work and take his sunglasses and just pop them on the door frame. And that was a first for me. It seems very handy.
Yep.
But
Yeah, because you can put them on your fridge. You can like put them all over the place, all on you, and yeah, I love my magnetic sunglasses.
we do need to check. So back in the day, I don't know if you're old enough to remember, magnets would really mess up like floppy disks or credit cards and stuff. I think we're safe now. I think all our SD cards, not a problem.
Hopefully, because they're putting magnets in phones.
We'll do a little Google search on that one. I don't know if you I'm sure you don't remember, Ronan. Televisions used to be affected by magnets with the CRTs, and
I think I do.
they would
remember
be
that.
kind of warp. And when I started in video production, VHS tapes, they were magnetic tape.
Yeah.
We used to have a machine in the basement. It was locked in another room. You could erase an entire 2-hour VHS tape on this machine. It was a huge magnet on a plate, basically, and you would turn it on, and it'd make a humming noise. And you take the tape and put it on it and rub it 3 times, and that tape was gone.
Oh, geez.
I worked in a video production company when I was in high school, and
Yeah.
one of my jobs was to take old tapes down to the basement and erase them. And you had to like triple check that you weren't taking a good tape down there because it was a one-way street.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Anyway, that is enough of a history lesson. For everyone watching today, thanks for joining us. As always, we just like to warm up the studio by getting in here ourselves before the clients start coming in the door. And something we've been doing recently is inviting guests to join us. So, Ronan,
Yes.
can you show? We have Khadeejah Honesty from Sultry, which is a Arlington-based business. Well, you're internet-based, but in Arlington. Do I have that right?
Yes.
So tell me about yourself. What do you do for everyone watching? Who are you?
Yes, so I do own a business. Before that though, I'm a mom, so I have a daughter, she's 8.
Nice.
And with my company, my main goal is just to help people like integrate their self-care with their soul care. And so I launched my business with natural skincare. Then I took on becoming a clay jewelry designer. And so, yeah, all of those things are online. But now I have this super sweet opportunity of like meeting all of these awesome people in person with hosting workshops now. So I guess I'm online and in person at this point.
What's the workshop about? Or what do you do at workshops?
Yeah, so the workshops are very diverse. So on a monthly basis, I have these huge celebratory self-care workshops where the public can come and just like show love to themselves and others. But then I also have like private workshops where you can kind of put a creative twist on your corporate happy hours or something unique for bridal showers or birthday parties, kids parties. And so I'm just offering people this really awesome process of polymer clay jewelry.
So tell me about what you said, self-love, right? I have that right. Where do you get to where that's what you're doing? Like, that's not something where you go to school and you study self-love. Like how did you come to be where like this is something you're doing with people?
Yeah, I think it developed naturally in my own life. And so I did go to art school, so I'm a creative through and through.
Yeah.
And so I've found for my personal journey how art is very therapeutic for me. And so I just wanted to be able to offer other people, a creative therapeutic process as a way to decompress, but then also to show themselves, treat yourself.
Yeah.
The self-care, the first round of drinks are on me, right? And you come and you do this really cool process. You prove to yourself that like you could make clay jewelry just as good as I can. And then we also have this moment in the self-care workshop where we talk about ways that we're giving ourselves love. And oftentimes I've experienced that conversation, being something where it just ends with self. And that can get weird when you have a lot of love for self.
Yeah.
And so the continued conversation with my brand is, it's important to love yourself so that you can spread love and give love to other people from a healthy place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does the jewelry and the skincare and the self-love, it sounds like you got kind of like a big circle going. Do you have different kinds of customers who enter at different places? Like is there I was a skincare person and then I found all this, and then another person's like, I was a jewelry person and I found all this. Do you find that there's like different kinds of customers, or
Yeah.
what's kind of a common way that someone would find you or come to know you?
I think it's the heart behind my business. I think people will come across my brand and just like the way that it makes them feel.
Yeah.
And sort of investigate the products, investigate why am I doing that, or what is that feeling?
Yeah.
Right. And I think it's because I'm creating and I'm offering and cultivating this brand from a place where it's like I'm being intentional to evoke this feeling or this experience that you can access peace, you can access self-love, you can take care of yourself, but don't abandon soul care. It's like all of these things being integrated. And so I always see like my products as the area of self-care.
Yeah.
And people like self-care.
Yeah.
Right. And then when we're able to have the conversation about giving ourselves love, where do we find that, making sure that we're putting it back into the world, that's sort of that soul care part coming into alignment. And then you have that self-love, through the workshops where you can sort of treat yourself in that dynamic. But the diversity of my customers is such a jewel. At first, it was very complicated because going to school for marketing and things like that, you try to find your niche.
Yeah.
Like, summarize it or scale down your customer base. But I've grown to learn that there's all different types of people, different types of women that really love my jewelry, and they wear it and express it in all these different faceted ways that I've grown to love. I'm just like, oh no, what they have all in common is that they like what I'm creating.
Yeah.
Not necessarily any specific demographics of.
So is
people.
you yourself are a big part of your brand. This is not a thing where you're removed or detached from it.
Right.
What is your besides just saying, oh, there's a workshop, what do people do to interact with you? Or like what do you do online, I guess is what I'm saying. What do you do to bring attention to yourself?
That's a really good question. I don't know if I am truly thriving online. I think that there's a mystery of who I am online.
Yeah.
And then when you come to the workshop, you get the fullness of who I am in person. I think I'm more of a conversationalist. I'm a people's person.
Yeah, it's a one-on-one. Yeah.
And so you get an extended version of me on when you come to the workshops.
Yeah.
So, but I think online, I'm just honest. I think authenticity is what is true. So I'm creating from an honest place. I'm offering you honest things. I'm not trying to oversell the benefit of self-care at all. Like jewelry is not going to change your life at all.
Yeah, but the what you're going through. Yeah.
Yeah, but the integration with that, with soul care, it can change you. Self-care is sort of like what we do to recuperate or even set the tone for the actual work. And so you do kind of need that, because just taking a bath or just wearing jewelry is not going to do it. But not having an environment or a mindset where you're ease or calm enough to do the work, you don't really, it can kind of be overwhelming.
Yeah.
I can imagine. So
you are on the internet, but it sounds like Arlington County is really where you are is a big part of what you do. And I'm sure you have, some people from California that just purchase a product or something, but mostly you're it's an interesting hybrid of you're a online local business, which is not a thing I'd have thought about all that much. But
Yeah.
I mean, we're very hands on, and we have the studio here, and we
Yeah.
have cameras here, and we're here. And there's definitely things we can do from online. Somebody will send us a video and say, just edit this. But yeah, it's the same thing where the majority of the people we spend our time with are in this area.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a interesting dynamic. There's just one of you.
Yeah, there's just one of me. So I think like when I was online, like you said, the local community still supported my business a ton. Especially during COVID, I got a lot of,
Yeah.
I hit all 50 states. And then it was people from the UK were trying to figure out how to buy my jewelry. And then in 2021, where we were still wearing masks, but we needed to get out.
Yeah.
As small businesses owners, I would like to think, especially in this area, we really maximized markets and farmers markets, and we made that a huger thing than what it's
Being
always
in person.
been.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a way that I was able to recognize that Arlington County was a huge support. They did a lot of media coverage in the magazines and things like that on my business to sort of tell my story. But now with the workshops, like you said, I'm still an online business that's local. It kind of stretched me to the rest of the DMV, which is like, we know is very separate.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're all very
Siloed.
close together. So there's a lot of people from DC and Maryland that also travel to Arlington County to experience my workshops. But that's still pretty local in my
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah. So 2018 is when you started all this. I'm not going to let you answer COVID. With that caveat, what's been the biggest challenge running your own business since you started?
Ooh. I think in the beginning, well, I'll preface this by saying I'm learning that there's two sides to business. In the beginning, I was just running a business. And now I'm at a point where I'm
Yep.
doing business. And that requires two different parts of me. So in the beginning, running a business, it was just like, oh my goodness, I have to do all the things myself. I have to market my business and create my business and product develop and also make the product, because all my product is handmade, and ship everything and build a website and build these graphics. It was just like
a lot of puzzle pieces.
a lot of puzzle pieces that I think, school and my past jobs really helped me be able to take all these different creative, I can do that, and apply it to my business in an effective way.
Yeah.
But now doing business, it's very nuanced. It requires a lot more craftiness. It requires a team of people that you can actually trust. It's a dog-eat-dog world in entrepreneurship.
I am slightly familiar.
And I don't have that. I'm not that by nature.
Yeah.
And so it forces me to sort of be alert and more intentional and have more strategy into the things that I'm doing, and actually say less at this point. I'm a dreamer. I'm a conversationalist. So I like to talk about things and just ideas after ideas. And then you realize oh, yeah, I should have.
Yeah. There's a million ideas a day and time for one idea per day. I find that we can make all kinds of plans, but there's just only so many hours in the day. But it sounds like it's going well for you. You're getting people are interested in this. Where should people go to check it out? If someone's watching this and they've never heard of any of this before, tell them how to find your website.
Definitely go to sultrybrand.com. I have a great presence on Instagram at Love Sultry.
Okay.
And Sultry is spelled Soultry. So it's a play on words there. And I recently joined Threads. Okay.
Oh,
so
yes. No, I yesterday, and people,
I can't believe it, but I did it.
I'm getting notifications. This person followed you. This person, and every single person is just like, hello world. Nobody's talking yet, but they're all there.
They're all there. It's a very interesting thing, but I do appreciate the less pressure of creating reels, and you can kind of just say something and throw it out there and see what
Well, it's
happens.
kind of like, I don't know if you were on Twitter early on. Twitter early on was very much, it was just like short amount of words,
Yeah.
no pictures. It was just people, like very small snippets of text. And this is reminding me of that.
Of that.
When Twitter grew big and added words and added links, and it grew. And I think kind of this small
Same.
stripped down version
Yeah.
is kind of nice.
Well, I think that that's part of that conversation of doing business.
Hmm. Yeah.
The idea that Instagram has created a Twitter.
Yeah. No, it's
It's a nuance that you have to really navigate with what's genius for your business to do, but also some level of integrity.
yeah. It makes sense.
So,
Last question before we wrap up the show. Tell me about. I mean, we keep talking about Arlington County, but kind of talk about being here. I'll go first with this. Actually, we came from Woodbridge. We were
Okay.
down there, kind of in an industrial park, and so we would do video production where people would call us and say, "Yeah, come up to DC," and we'd come up to DC. Nobody came to visit us in Woodbridge. And so
Right.
once we got here, we found that we're just like meeting people where we have an elevator and we have conversations, and it's a challenging place to do business in, but there's a lot of rewards. I have found that it's just very exciting to be here. Kind of what's your experience been? I guess you've been here longer than us.
Yeah.
So we've only been up here since January.
oh wow.
And so
Okay.
I guess as a new person to someone that's been around, just tell me a little bit about Arlington.
Yeah, I mean, I love Arlington because I'm originally from Washington D.C., so I am a city girl
Yeah.
at heart. If that, I know New Yorkers probably are not. That's not the city, but to me, it's the city. But Arlington County has this really sweet spot of like being city, but still carrying that Virginia is for lovers
Yeah.
vibe to it, and so I appreciate that. And they're really intentional about supporting local businesses and also their people. So I actually ended up coming to Arlington County by way of a special program by the name of Doorways. Like I said in the beginning, I was a mother, and once I got pregnant with my daughter at 24, absolutely thought my life was over, being in a career and just being where I wanted to be. But I ended up having my daughter at 23 weeks. So she didn't take her first breath until 13 minutes after
Oh, wow.
giving birth to her. She was 1 pound. We spent 6 months at the NICU. And so, yeah, that process was really weighty. I had a lot of peace that things would be okay, but still going through the process was very, very difficult.
I'm sure.
And dealing with postpartum as well. So in that decision, I really had to decide if I wanted to continue to pursue my career in the midst of going through this or just be a mom. And
Yeah.
so it was a hard but very easy and evident decision that I made. But without family support, I lost everything. So I ended up homeless and caught wind of the shelter that's placed here in Arlington County, Doorways. And it's a beautiful thing. They supported me through that process and transitioned me, equipped me with the tools to be able to re-enter the world on my own
Yeah.
and transition me into housing and supported me for the first year of my daughter's life because she couldn't go to daycare. And in that time, I used my creativity. I used art as therapy. And so that's when I started, the conversation of natural skincare, natural hair were happening on Instagram. Self-care was happening on Instagram. Just those big, like you say, the beginning of those conversations.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I can do that. I love aromatherapy. I can put essential oils in shea butter. And so I started to create those things and use my hands and my creativity to sort of find the strength to get through that and go through my own journey of self-care and self-love. And then I was privileged enough, I think it was privileged, to be supported by Doorways at that time to dream a little and not just
Yeah.
work it through,
It's incredible. As someone who started my own business, I would say going from homelessness to entrepreneurship that's just such a huge leap.
Yeah.
And for you to be able to do that really speaks highly of yourself and your efforts and the support they gave you, because that is
Yeah.
just kind of mind blowing to me that
Yeah.
you did it on hard mode and you did it.
Yeah.
So that's just really amazing.
Yeah. I think right now the conversation that I'm having is that if you let it, the hardest things that you go through in your life, it can really be purposed. I think it requires a lot of faith and determination, like you're saying, and perseverance to be an entrepreneur. It's
Yeah.
not for the faint, right? But I think the process that I just came out of with my daughter, I'm like, well,
Well,
if I can get through that, if
yeah,
this is all possible, then like surely I can own a business.
everything else should be easy.
It wasn't easy, but I believe that it was possible
Mhm.
in order to just start and do and see what came out of it. And so I launched my business and I was like, I'm going to see what comes out of it. Much like most people, it's just like I was creating these products and making this jewelry, and my friends were enjoying it. And I'm like, okay, this is a thing.
Yeah.
And then I came up with the name and the concept and my intention, my why,
Yep,
they
yep.
teach you. And then I when I went back to work, I launched my business online. And going back to work as a single mother was just, it evoked so much anxiety. I was like, oh my goodness, I just want to quit. And so I took the time to pray for peace to quit. And once I got it, I quit in 2019. And I went full time. And I just was like, I'll give myself a year. If I make no money, if I'm not disciplined enough to get up and
Yep.
tend to this business, then I'll go back. I'll go back to work and figure and muster through that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought, man, just bet on myself a little bit. I've been able to accomplish all these beautiful things for other people's businesses and visions. Let me see if I can apply some of these skills and experience to my own. So,
And it worked.
and it worked.
I
It
don't
is
want to say
working.
past tense. It's always a process.
Yeah,
it is
it's
working.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, even once you're established, it continues to take effort.
Yeah.
But no, that's really, really awesome. I want to thank you for joining us. But before we go,
Yeah.
something we do here on the show is Ronan
Okay.
usually shares something with us.
Okay.
You got something to show us, Ronan?
Yeah, this is semi-interesting.
Semi-interesting?
Or at least I
Better
thought
than-
it was interesting.
Better than usual.
Okay, I'm gonna
Look
look
right
here.
over here. Yep.
Okay.
All right. South Koreans become a year or two younger as traditional way of counting age scrapped. All right. Do you know anything about this?
No.
All right, Ronan, scroll down. What do we got?
Anything is possible today.
So apparently, how South Koreans first, the first way of thinking with like new life and counting of age, was that when they gave birth, they were automatically 1 year
You're
old.
one, okay, so it's your
Oh.
first year. They're
Yes.
counting that year as your first year.
Yes.
And then a birth year is added January
So-
1. Okay, so if you were born on December 31st, you could be a 2-day old baby that we're saying is 2 years old. Technically, based on what I'm
Oh.
seeing here.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, many South Koreans continue to use this tradition. Okay, so go down a little more. What's saying here is they're changing that.
Yes. Now they're doing the international standard, which you just grow a year. You start your birth
Start at zero
and
and go up
then
to-
every year,
Go up to a year.
every birth year,
Okay, that's
or
interesting.
every day of your birth, you gain a year instead of the start of the year.
86% of South Koreans said they would use the international age when the law took effect. So, what this is
Yes.
going to be fun is that there's
So
going to
some
be
people are going to decide
yeah.
to go back, and some people are going to be like, I'm sticking
So you'll have kids in school where like this one's 6 and this one's 5, but actually they're the same age.
age.
Well,
So do they go back and redo the grade?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I don't know. They what Ronan? How's that work? They'd get younger, right?
Yes.
When the law changes,
Yeah.
you go from being
and probably
20 years old
Does,
to being 18 years old.
probably this 14% of people that still want to stay their age, they might
Right.
change like in 2 or 3 years because, well, right now because of how South Koreans used to do the law, they are 21, but now they might be like 19 or 20.
Yeah,
So-
I don't know the different.
Right, so that's not going to work for them.
I don't know the
They're like,
different
no, I
ages.
need to be 21.
Yeah, I don't know the different ages of like. If there's got to be like different ages
I
for
see
cigarettes
that.
and alcohol, and they're like, I
Right.
could drink yesterday and now I can't today.
Well, that and like driving and
wait.
things too.
And driving.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is
This
very
is very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, no, good job, Ronan. That is more than mildly interesting.
I wouldn't mind going back to being 30. That
yeah,
was a good year.
We just need to. So this is new news. This is June 28th.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay, so if you know anyone from Korea, you need to ask them if they got younger this year.
I was gonna say my dad used to live in South Korea.
So well, he should share this
Yeah.
with him. He might know something about it. But no, that's kind
pretty
of
cool.
sounds cool. It might be complicated, but yeah, probably going forward, if you're working with people internationally, it's easier to count
Probably.
ages the same.
Right.
So, well, I like that one, Ronan.
I like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
Anyway, for everyone else who's joining us here, website one more time.
SoulTrueBrand.com.
Cool. So if you have watched this far, you gotta check it out. How can you watch? What has it been, Ronan? Like 20-minute talk?
Yeah, I think we're close to 25.
You
but yeah.
cannot watch a 20-minute episode
Long-winded.
and not go to the website. That would just be ridiculous. That would be like going to the ice cream store
I
and
agree.
not getting an ice cream cone.
For sure.
So absolutely check it out and come back. We're gonna have some more guests going forward. I say this every time, but you give me people to be guests, and you watching online, give me people to be guests. And if you are someone who wants to be a guest, go to glassrivermedia.com and just fill out the form. Say, I would love to be on the show. You see how it goes.
Done. This was great.
We just talk, and we love having people here. I tell everyone that we did about 2 months of just Ronan and me,
Yeah.
and it gets old fast because it's just the two of us. And so having different people in here every day is always a delight.
I love it.
So,
Thanks for having me.
thanks for joining us, and we will see everyone else later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.